This episode of Finding Demo Surf Fishing is being brought to you by The Sinker Guy. Head on over to thesinkerguy.com. Get your order in today. You won't be sorry. Chip's got a lot of fun stuff in the Sinker Guy garage, and you can't go wrong. Sinkers, yep, got them. Rigs, all day. They got that Bruno rig, maybe another rig. Just need to drop a letter. You'll see all about it. Scissors, pliers, links, terminal tackle, all day. Totally covered. Go over to thesinkerguy.com. You'll see it all. Lots of good stuff. Enjoy. Hey everybody, new episode, new week, lots of fun stuff coming your way. This week we're getting in the old imaginary airplane and heading, just a smidge west from me here. That's right, we're going over to Texas again. And you know what? I am impressed with Texas fishing, and it's fun to watch all the stuff on social media, see what people are catching. Cool to be in the groups like that. And they when they say things are bigger in Texas, they ain't joking. We've seen some monster bull reds and some other big species just getting after it out there. This week, though, kind of fun story of how I met into this guy. And we'll get into it in the show. But if you didn't know, I'm a bit of a social media stalker when it comes to people and how they fish, what they do. I love seeing it. And when I see something that gets my attention and it sounds like they're a cool person and they really know what they're doing, I normally reach out to them in the show and I'm like, hey, let's talk. I really want to get some info from you. Well, that's no different this week. Big Rich fishing, a whole lot more stuff in there. But I have all the social media links. They're going to be back on the website and here on all your social media platforms. So wherever you were listening to this, click in, you'll get over to them. I don't want to blow any of these cool stories because I looked at some stuff. And I'm like, ooh, wrote that down. No, don't want to talk about it because he's going to talk about it. Wrote that down. No, can't do that. So without me just running my mouth the entire bit of the show, let's get him on the show. Rich, welcome, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and thanks for the patience with my background editing that I'm going to have to go back do later and try not to punch my screen.
I've been there editing. I've had my computer even crash before, and it's like,
yeah, it's pretty top 5 of nothing good there. Well, all you can do is just make things work, right? That's what it is. We just have to make things work.
Exactly.
So, go ahead.
Okay, my name's Richard. My name's they call me Big Rich because I'm like 6'3", so I'm really super tall. I recently got into whaling. I guess that's how you say it. So I have a bunch of quail now, and now I'm hatching quail. And I really love where I live, Corpus Christi, Texas. And it is an amazing place where there's just tons of opportunities here. Like, I wasn't raised here, so like when I got here, I've tried to take advantage of it all. There's just so much to do.
Yeah, especially there. I mean, Corpus is a beautiful area, and the fishing is definitely not bad. That is for sure. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But let's back it up even further. So let's get right into the podcast questions here. Tell us your story and what got you into fishing.
Well, I was kind of always into fishing since I was like younger, but like I've always caught like smaller fish, and I was really into fly fishing for the longest time. So I've done a ton of fly fishing, and when I moved here, I was like, there's so many big. I didn't even know what I'm going to catch half the time, and there's such a good fights too. The fights are just amazing. You have not a clue what you're going to is on the other into that line essentially. So that the excitement of a rod screaming, you can't beat that. You really can't. So I mean, when I got here, there's like so many forms of fishing I could do. I could still fly fish and still have a great time with that even. And just the opportunities here are just like almost endless. And I never not a clue what I'm going to catch at the time. So.
Oh, That's happy. That's the best part of fishing. You can target stuff, but on the saltwater world, you can target all day. You'll see whatever else just decides to jump on your line too. So it's not like boat fishing. That's one thing I love about surf. You can say, "Hey, I'm going to target this," and yeah, cool story, bro. Here's a jack or something else. Where'd you
Exactly.
come from? You weren't part of the plan of the day.
Exactly.
So,
There's a few target species I hadn't caught. I would love to catch a cobia. I would
oh,
love to catch
same.
yeah, a cobia. I would love to catch I still haven't caught a tarpon. That's on my list of things to catch still. But like you, so they're kind of mystical around here a lot of times, especially if you're fishing from the shoreline,
Yeah.
type of thing. You have opportunities to catch them at certain times. There's always going to be that one person who's like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You have."
Well, we had that up here in the panhandle of Florida not too long. I think it was about a year ago. Might have been a little longer than that. I mean, a guy caught a sturgeon in the surf. It's like
What?
exactly. It was a 1 in billion. After that, hey, hopefully you bought a lottery ticket because you were totally hooked up. But you
Yeah.
never know, and it's so cool that in different areas things like that happen. A recent episode I just did. I just found out that they catch rooster fish from the beach in Cabo. I'm like, "You gotta
Oh,
be kidding me." They're like, "Yeah, we do it all the time, man." Like it was nothing, you know? I'm just like, I would go nuts the idea that I could catch a rooster. So, that's one thing I love about the surf is that in the different areas, there are so many cool fish that are out there to be caught. It's just a matter of going to those ones, hitting the right season, hitting the right time, hitting the right temperature,
yeah.
and
Right.
then you got a
Right
chance.
now, we're seeing. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of Sahara dust essentially coming in, and so the water's really murky right now. So it's been really like chocolate milk a lot of times, but then it clears up. But a lot of those fish we normally see right now, like the big jacks and the reds, haven't been as prevalent as they have been in prior years, just because we had so much.
Yeah.
But you can definitely go to like Port Aransas, like the jetties there, and walk all the way. That's like 30 minutes away. It's not a big drive from here, and you can go all the way down to their jetties because they got a lot bigger jetties than we do, and it goes past the pier that's there, the Caldwell Pier, and you're able to definitely catch stuff. You're usually able to get past that murky water a lot of the times. Um, but yeah, it should be clearing up. It's starting. Looks like it's starting to clear up, and hopefully it continues to stay cleared. That way, we get a lot of those bigger fish in. Um, but you can still target. Reds love chocolate, the chocolate looking water. As long as there's bait, as long as you're seeing consistently seeing mullet close in the surf, then I say catch a mullet, cut it up if you want. Leave it alive. That's fine too. But I usually take some of the scales off on the side with a knife. Just kind of scent it up because it's like I said, chocolate milk. They're sight fish, and they can't really see it. So you're going to go heavy on the scent. So you're casting it out, and second, third, in between the second and the third. Sometimes I don't know. The water's been really out recently, so you may be able to get around just not casting very far actually, just because of that reason.
Okay. Well, that's a good little added piece there. Good bits of tips and tricks on that. Well, with being down there now, what type of fishing do you like to do?
Everything. Let's see here. So right now, like I'm gonna be, I really would love to be slide lining right now. I'm gonna catch some live bait and slide line off the jetties, and that was my goal because a lot of people don't do that. I'm throwing spoons a lot of times at the jetties as well. Um, Going anywhere from 1 to 3 ounce silver and gold. I'm hitting sharks right now because it's already murky anyways. I might as well do some shark around Bob Hall Pier, which is no longer exists. Unfortunately, got taken out by Hurricane Hannah, so they're planning on rebuilding it. It's just going to be take a long time for it to be rebuilt. So you can do some shark fishing here just by taking out drones. I use an AquaCat. I don't know if you know what that is. It's basically a boat that,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
AquaCat's a great boat.
it's basically like a boat that takes out your baits for you. You can also kayak, of course, but surf conditions, you never know. But right now, the surf has been great. It's not been too rough. So I'm really surprised about the chocolate, milky water right now because of that. But yeah, I'm catching sharks. And then like if I haven't done this, if it starts clearing up, I'm definitely gonna be doing this. I'm gonna start running down to pins. I don't know if you know what that is. Pottery
Yeah.
Island National Seashore. It's 60. Oh, I think 60. Yeah, 66 miles of just protected wetland. So that's you don't know how far that really is in comparison when you're driving like 15 miles an hour down the thing. It takes
Yeah.
it'll take half the day just to drive to the end. Um,
Yeah, Nick Meyer told me about that not too long ago from Breakaway Tackle. He
oh
loves
yeah,
that. When you said pins, I'm like
I,
pinfish, but then when you're like, oh, you said the Padre Island, I was like, oh, I know what you're talking about now.
I won a rod from him recently, actually. So yes,
Really?
yes.
Good
He
deal.
donated it to the coastal. I might as well go do this. The coastal cowboy. Uh, yeah, so he donated a rod to him to auction off, and yeah, I was able to win the rod. So I'll be doing some videos of me doing long distance casting, and I'm gonna start measuring out how far I'm going now. So I do like to do a little everything.
That's
So
cool though, man. It's one thing I've told a lot of people is the surf fishing community is though it's the whole country, there's a lot of sand. It's a small community. There are, in certain areas, we all know each other. We all have conversations. You'd be surprised. There's like 2 to 3 degrees of separation here. So that's really cool that you want to ride. I'm looking forward to seeing your videos on that, man. I'll text Nick and be like, hey, you're not gonna believe this. So that'll be real fun to talk about.
yes, yeah, I've been over to his shop occasionally. I need to definitely stop by and talk to him about the rod because I want to definitely tag him in the information, the videos obviously and stuff. So
Good
give him a
deal.
shout out.
Good deal. So next one is, what is your favorite thing about fishing?
Oh, my favorite thing. Oh my goodness. Actually, I have to go with. I get the. I'm kind of an inventor. It gets me out of my bubble a lot of times,
Yeah.
and I like to make new things. In fact, I got a rig named after me called the Richard Rig, and
Huh?
I don't know if you can see that. My friend
Dan?
Stanville Taco Co. He actually decided to start making it. So um, I like to invent. Like I said, like if I don't see something there, that I feel like, oh, I have an idea. Like sometimes I'll wake up with an idea and I'm like, man, I should try this. Even though it might fail, failure doesn't stop me. I always try something different and something different. I come with the craziest ideas, like taking a shrimp and putting it into a straw to see if I can keep from the little piggy perch and pinfish from, trying to take it off the hook. I try to come up with crazy ideas. Um, but some end up working out. So it's worth it in the end because, like, fishing is like there's no end to the knowledge you can learn, to the things you can invent and do. So it's going to keep me busy for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Hey, well, before we move on to the next question, tell us about the rig.
Oh. So basically, it's almost like a double drop essentially with three-way swivels. I put a swivel at the actual the where the sinker is. Sometimes I'll use. A lot of times I end up using spider weight because of currents and sometimes seaweed gets on it. And then sometimes if it's really really like gentle water, I'm going to use a pyramid weight. But basically, it will position itself with the mullet either live or cut off bait, and it'll position itself in the current where the fish is swimming upstream and will end up seeing that and end up biting it. So it gives it plenty of room to spin around, get spinner sharks and stuff like that. And I really wanted really strong lines because when I first invented it, I noticed I started getting a lot of sharks too, and they would nick it, and then it would end up breaking. So, and I don't want like hooks and a bunch of fish. So I ended up making it 200-pound line. My friend even went further than that with it, his rigs. So just to keep, you can still catch sharks, you can still catch reds. You're not going to end up losing all those, which is great, type of thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a smart setup. So great job on inventing that. That's always cool, making things better as you go. That's the best thing we can do is people is always making things better. That's all it is. Being down in there in Texas, what is your favorite fish to target?
there's, there's honestly no like favorite. Honestly, I honestly I love pompano. Like it's more of a season based. So
Yes, that right
I,
there.
I am right now the season right now. I'm all for the season. Um, then like I'm ready for the mullet run. I can't wait for the mullet run because like it's already on my mind. I'm ahead of. I gotta be ahead of everything else because my scheduling, my kids. I gotta work around all my stuff my wife has for me. So it's getting out there, being able to target species when before it starts hitting. You know, because once that mullet starts running and stuff like that, I'm gonna look for flounder. I'm gonna look for redfish, and then I'm gonna be looking for the black drum will run at the end, of course, and I'm gonna be looking constantly for all these fish that are running. I mean, you'll catch jacks and other things like that too because like everything's feeding. Everything's just going to be feeding out there because all that bait is being pushed out into the surf, which is amazing. And you don't need to buy no bait from the tackle shop. You just throw a cast net and get yourself some mullet.
Yeah. Yeah, I suck at throwing the net, but yes, that's the great way to get the old
Get
free
yourself a
stuff.
lighter one. I would say 3 foot. That's six tall. It's six. Wide. Um, just get some lighter one and then work your way up. That's what I do. What I ended up doing because anyone who ever starts out always say lighter weights. Do the 3 foot until you get used to it.
Yeah, that good stuff right there. I learned a little bit from the old team at Kids Can Fish. Caroline she's a beast at throwing a net and she's great at teaching. So I've been picking up little tips and tricks and hopefully I'll pick up some new ones this year. What has been your craziest or your favorite catch ever?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my craziest one would be my on my Richard rig. I ended up catching two reds at the same time on it, and it was a heck of a fight. And I was on fire that day. I was like catching reds after reds after reds after reds. It was just amazing to be able to catch two at the same time. I've recently made another rig, so it has three. So when it's good like that, just to see if I can't catch three at the same time would be my goal. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
That'd be a lot of weight power right there. So it's a good thing you got it set up the way you did.
Yes.
What is a bucket list fish that you want to catch?
Oh, it's going to have to be, gosh darn, it's a toss up between the tarpon and then the cobia still. Definitely would be an amazing either one would be amazing fight and be able to bring in type of thing. I am targeting both, but right now the surf, like I said,
Yeah.
it's your chocolate milk. So I'll work. One of these days, I'm going to get it.
All right, last two questions in this category here. Where would be a dream place for you to go fish?
Hmm. I've considered Florida, but that might be a little bit overrated type of thing. Um, so it have to be somewhere exotic, I think, because like I follow a lot of people around the world on my like TikToks and Instagram. So it would definitely have to be exotic. So a roosterfish would be up in the exotic range for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, something I typically don't catch would be great because, like, I mean, the opportunities, like, people from other places would do the exact same thing if they came to vacation here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the fun part. And we got plenty of water and beach to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last one for you here in this one, and then we'll move into your knowledge pieces. What has been your very favorite fishing memory?
Very favorite fishing memory. Ooh, this one's tough. Hmm. Honestly, Bob Hall Pier, because I met a lot of my good friends there. And unfortunately, it's gone now because of Hurricane Hannah. But I made most of my friends there, and then I eventually branched out and got a lot of friends from social media as well. So as I kind of grew, I met more and more people, and honestly, that is my favorite memories is making those friendships that you can't shake. So
Yep. And that's one cool part about social media in our world is getting to meet people and hang out and meet new faces like this.
exactly.
When I come to Texas, I will happily say, "Hey, Rich, what you doing? Yeah, I know you're not busy today, are you?"
Just not on the weekends. That's my wife's
Oh,
time.
I get you. I totally get you. All right. Well, we've been going for about 20 minutes here, and we're going to move into the next section of fishing tips, tricks, and knowledge. But before we do that, we got to knock out a bait check because it's been time for you to check your bait, people. This bait check is coming in hot. Hopefully, you got plenty of bait on there. You've got, or actually, you've got a bunch of fish. That'd be good. And your bait's gone. We don't want you to have bait on your line. That wouldn't be good. That means the fish aren't there. So if you haven't caught a fish yet, switch it up, change your bait. Maybe you need to go, high side, low side. Who knows? Something different. This bait check is being brought to you by Ninja Tackle. NinjaTackleVA.com has got you completely covered for Ninja Dagger rods, all the way from 7 foot up to 12, maybe 13 here soon. That's right. Big stuff's coming. So keep your eyes open on the website. If you need rigs, got you. Reels. He's got a whole gambit in there for all the fishing equipment that you might need. So not a bad place to go when you need your stuff. Also, if you're into firearms and shooting, yep, Ninja Tactical. Whole other side of Ninja Tackle's got a lot of great things in there from optics, Glock accessories, other add-ins, other pieces, things that you should definitely take a look at. So great website to be at. Great people to always be around. That's a good dude. I love him. NinjaTackleVA.com. All right, so here we go. We're moving into the fishing tips, tricks, and knowledge here. So this is, hey, regular old day. Let's do this out. How do you plan your fishing trips?
So basically, use like everyone. You got to check your apps. Free going anywhere. Check your apps. It's very important to check your weather, check your wind, check your tides, because the tides all the way to the dunes. What are you gonna do? Um, and then you want to check your surf conditions, like how rough is that surf really? So that will change how I fish or what I'm targeting a lot of the times. So um, based on that, I don't care about when the fish bites. A lot of people do. That's great if you do. I have the time to just go out there and just mess around, type of thing. So I'll be messing around just to see, um, just to see what's out there. A lot of times where other people won't be. So that's the beauty of having a wife that has me do whatever.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Well, how do
so
you go ahead?
So depending on where you want to start from, do you want to start from the surf or do you want to start from the jetties? That's a good question too.
Well, I mean, we can go for both. You're already there.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're planning
So,
your trips, talk to me about
oh my
both.
goodness, so much. Let's see here. So, like, let's start with the jetties, I guess. So obviously, I talked about the spoons, anywhere from 1 to 3 ounce spoons, silver or gold, and I typically like to use gotcha plugs a lot of times for like mackerel and like they're smaller fish. You get trout and stuff like that. Gotcha plugs are amazing to just end up using. Now, if you want to just like, if you're throwing in like, darker, like we have the chocolate milky looking water type thing. Sometimes I'll throw like lures that have a little bit glow in the dark to them, just because it's a little bit darker type of thing. So I'll end up throwing those as well. And then of course everyone loves live bait, so shrimp is usually the go-to. You can fish with a jig head at the bottom, or you can use a popping cork. Popping corks basically are mimic live shrimp sounds, so it does. So that sometimes helps for you getting bites as well. Just depends on the current type of thing. Of course, you can cast out to catch sharks as well. There's just a lot of species you can typically catch. You can free line. You can free line shrimp. You can free line mullet. There's a ton of different methods you could use at the jetties. Like I said, I was talking about slide lining, and not a lot of people know that slide line. So here at least, so it'd be really fun to just try and do. I've seen it done occasionally, but not very many people do it.
Let's do this because you brought it up twice now. I was going to ask earlier, but we kept moving in here. What is slide lining?
So it requires 2 poles. One pole is basically you're just tying a weight to it. And preferably, you can use braid, but it's better if it's mono, and casting it out, right? So you're just casting it out, and you're getting a good enough weight, I don't know, like a 16 ounce, I guess, and then with spider weight, and you want to get that locked in there and tighten that up. You're going to take another pole, and it's a 3-way swivel that connects to three different places. One's going to go to your pole. One's going to go to your pole that's not connected, and then the other one is going to connect to your other pole, but it's going to have a twist of it's going to have a twist of wire so it can pop off. It's hard to explain. I wish I would have brought the thing. So it's going to pop off, and the other end's going to be a bunch of hooks and stuff. And what you're doing is you're basically trying to suspend your bait above the water line somewhat. And you can change that by letting it go a little bit further, but you want it on the surface for like jacks, reds, sharks, all those will end up, try to, get the bait and stuff, but you're basically targeting topwater fish. It's just suspending your bait above the water, which is kind of unusual, especially for the jetties.
So you primarily use that at the jetties more so than the beach, I'm guessing, because your beaches are long.
At the pier as well.
Okay, yeah.
Which is great. Which also brings me up to another thing I like to use at the piers and stuff. I always love using sabikis, and that's a great way to catch bait and stuff like that. However, the jetties not so much. So I've actually cut down my sabiki to where I can actually use it now. And you have to be really careful of the rocks, and you definitely want to drag it in a lot quicker. So that's another thing, little tricks you can use, and you can occasionally catch mackerel using it actually, which is
yeah.
It's a fun fight.
I mean, I'm not saying that I've used a sabiki on a party boat with the 50 and 70 pound line and dropped it straight down and like, all right, you guys want to play with your shrimp? That's fine. Watch this. Popping up 3 mingos and stuff like that. You're like, yeah, I'm good. Perfect planning makes it's funny how you try different things.
Well, there's also something else I need to bring up.
Yeah. Fish
bites and fish gum. That's an important thing to always have on you. A lot of people will end up using, so for some reason, say there's no live bait. There's bait shops don't have it, and you can't find anything in the surf. You need to have a backup, and having fish gum and fish bites is always important because you can end up catching. I had a friend who just came down and ended up, I forget, he had both on him. I think it was the fish bites that he caught it on, but I mean, it's extra bait and it doesn't go bad. And I mean, I'll leave in my car till it turns black. I still catch
Yeah.
fish on it, so does it
That's
really?
true.
Yeah, I
That's
will
the
catch fish on it. So I mean, good fish. So I mean, it's worth it. Just getting those just to have a backup.
so I'm on Yeah, yeah. So I'm on Fish Bites Pro staff, and I did the interview with Fish Bites probably a year and a half ago. Brett brought up some funny things. Yeah, and he brought up one piece of like, yeah, it could be absolutely brown and just horrible looking. It'll still fish. It'll still work as long as you can get it on a hook. There's it can still fight. So yeah, I always fish with my synthetic. I mean, Fish Bites is always on my line, one of the top two or bottom. It just depends on what I'm doing. But yes, a myriad of bait is always important at the beach or wherever you're fishing.
Oh, so well, all right. Now that I think I'm done with the jetties for the most part. So let's move to the beach. Like for fish bites, man, I'm always using fish bites for pompano.
Hmm.
Underrated fish, taste amazing. My friend was giving me his pompano for the longest time until he decided to finally try one because I think he was turned off by him because they look so much like a jack.
Yeah.
And he knows like jack tastes terrible. So, no one wants to eat it. It's just, a bait essentially. So, yeah, he was always giving it to me. He decided to try it. And he's like, man, I regret that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was giving you quite the filet mignon of the sea right there. Just like, oh, yeah, these are horrible. Yeah, they're right. They're poor. You don't want them. I'll take all of them. Thanks.
Yeah, you have no idea what you're doing. So like, let's try with pompano. So basically, when you got pompano, a lot of times you can use like shrimp, fish bites, and you can take bait elastic. A lot of times, especially if your shrimp is, getting a little mushy, or maybe you're just getting picked off really easy. You can take bait elastic and wrap it around it, and you just pull it off, and it'll stay on there so much better. Also, if you're having trouble, you can if you have big shrimp, half of them, put a piece on there, then put your fish bite on, and then cast it out there. And man, it's it's game on. But
Yep, that is the way.
yeah, I mean, I'll smoke a pompano, and it tastes amazing. Um, yeah, I mean, we've got pompano during the winter months. I would say somewhere around November when the water starts getting cold. If it's not getting cold, December, and man, you just tear them up. It's nice,
Nice.
good stuff, and you'll run in some black drum occasionally, and see here occasional like if you're using fish bites and shrimp, a lot of times you get a bonnet head as well. Now you can eat a bonnet head if they're here in Texas. You can they're supposed to be 2 feet, so 24 inches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Texas has got some interesting regulations when it comes to fish sizes and limits. You got a little bit of the Wild West over there too, with like, what do you mean there's no limit? No, there's no limit on these. You got to be kidding me. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing because not everyone is like trying to target those, and we only have certain seasons for them, and it's not like
Yeah.
they're here all the time.
Yep.
Um, I know I haven't seen a lot of sand trout right now. Eventually, I'm sure we'll see a bunch. Let's see here. What's another underrated? Whiting. Another underrated
Oh,
fish.
love that
No,
fish.
no, it's a poor man's redfish, is what people call it here. So it, it's really good though if you get enough of them, and I would say about 12 inches. You're looking for the big fat ones about 12 inches to start really getting a bunch of them and eating them, type of thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Whiting's a wonderful fish. So we move it a little bit here. Let's get back it up now. So you gave us into how you plan your fishing trips, and you gave us with the two pieces there, and you gave us with the pier. How do you select your spot when you're going out to fish?
see here. It depends on what I'm fishing for. If it's a shark, I'm looking for certain places where like cuts. I like really good cuts in the surf type of thing. When I'm targeting like pompano, I like the where there's a bank essentially of sand that kind of blocks off. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, basically, there's a cut, but it's pushed a bunch of sand out, and I'm fishing over to the left of it or the right of it, depending. So I'm not
Okay.
fishing
So the
in the
bar,
actual
so
cut, which is
a cut to the bar.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
And when it comes to pompano, I'm gonna fish usually past. I'm going like when it comes to pompano are weird. So the second sandbar, I'm gonna stagger my poles. I'm gonna go one in front of the second sandbar, one behind it, and then one even further than that. So people who don't stagger it, you're going to end up missing little pockets of where the fish actually are. And then once you learn where they're at, you just keep on hit it. I sometimes once I get on it, it's like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
and,
man, that is the way.
and then we got sheephead, which would be the jetties again. Um, Shrimp, man. Come March, sometime around March, you'll start seeing them, and uh, just live shrimp is what I usually do, and it's usually on like a 8 weight, and just usually like what do you call that rig? Gosh darn, I'm drawing a blank here, but basically a hook and a weight, egg weight, and you're throwing it
Oh,
out there.
Carolina. You're talking about like Carolina setup.
Trying to think. It's like a slide line, but I can't think what it's called.
It's too early.
Yeah.
All right, so Carolina rig for them. All right, cool. So you're looking at those. Nice setup there. All right, so let's talk into now that you're at your spot, you're getting set up, and you gave us the first part there of where do you cast. And we talked a little earlier, you mentioned, hey, you got to know about your tides. We're a little funky, you know this, especially with the Gulf of Mexico. We don't have a bunch of tide worry, but have you noticed anything different with your tides there that changes it up for you?
Yes. So for the jetties, it affects the jetties drastically. Tides will definitely change how the fish bite is, like when the best time is going to be, and we only have like it goes the jetties go to the packery. The packery jetties is just one thing, and so a lot of people are fishing all down that at certain times. The tides. A lot of people will say don't fish it when the tide's not moving. So, and that's true because you could be there. I've been there on the boat before when it stopped and it's just dead calm and there's not. I'm down the packery and there's not a single thing biting just because the tide stopped. It's like a giant washing machine. He's pushing in water and pushing out water, pushing it. But when it's slack like that, they're gonna move out. Bait's gonna move out because they have no protection. So you're just wasting. You're just feeding the piggy perch.
That's a good way to say it. That makes sense though, man. I mean, you want that movement, especially there at the jetty. I mean, that's big pieces.
Well, think about how the fish themselves, early morning in the bay system, they're going to be hiding in really shallow water. Same with the big targeted fish. Redfish will go in less than a foot of water. They're hunting and stuff like that. And then when the water warms up and it's a little bit later in the day, they're going to go in the same structure, but in deeper water. Same with all the other fish.
Yeah, that's a great point, dude. Great point. Some reason my brain didn't put that together till you said it. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what happens on the show half the time. So we've talked about tides there. What about moon phases? Anything you've noticed with that?
Yes, and you have to be very careful, especially where you have high tides. It can go to the dunes. And you got to be especially careful, especially if you're all the way going, if you decide to go to Pens and there's no cell phone reception there. So it's no man's land essentially there. So you have to really look at your reports ahead of time, and the water can easily move up. And I love a good moon, especially when you're targeting flounder and you're gigging, because you can gig here, and it's great. You can use that if you have a calm winds and stuff. Oh, it's a good combination. But yeah, tide's definitely
I bet, man.
the fish bite. Sometimes it's going to shut everything off. Sometimes it's going to turn everything on. So it depends. You can fish. It's either going to be early morning or it's going to be night that the bite's going to be strong. So it's a guess a lot of times. I've discovered.
Cool. Great, one. So you got a lot of pull there. Let's keep up with the same thing. We're kind of on the same one. Let's talk about the seasons. So you mentioned a little bit in there a little earlier too. You were mentioning November into the Pompano. Well, talk to me about your seasons and what you find has been what works for you when I don't want to say it like targeting wise, but walk me through the seasons with Texas and fishing.
Oh my goodness. See here. Seasons. Let's see here. You can pretty much catch a lot of the fish all year for the most part. A lot of them for the most part. But like, see here, like jacks are gonna have a certain season. You're looking for April. Around April, do you start seeing the jacks? Redfish you can pretty much catch year round, because they're gonna be there's some going to be in the bay system still, and they're going to come back out. Same with black drum, but a lot of them do leave to go spawn and then come back in. Same with flounder. They go off and as well. That as soon as that mullet runs, sometime in September, probably end of September, October, somewhere around there. That's when everything kind of like follows the bait themselves, and they go have their babies and come back in. So, and then trout will stay in here. You get your biggest trout during the winter times a lot of times. See here, like I was talking about Pompano already. That was November, December. It's like my best time for Pompano. Like I'll fill up my freezer easy. See here, March is gonna be I'm gonna be looking for a sheephead. I think I've pretty much covered. Oh yeah, the black drum are usually the last to run in the mullet run usually. So I'll end up, it'll be cold water, and I'll end up. I mean, you can't cast the pole without catching one. It's just ridiculous because they're all going to that Packery channel. We only have like one in and out for the ocean, so they're gonna go somewhere.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like pretty much you got year-round fishing. You're covered there.
Yeah, I just recently started shark fishing, and basically you can pretty much fish year-round for sharks as well. A lot of people don't fish during the winter times, so I'm going to be trying to definitely hit that up as well, because you can get sandbar sharks and stuff like that early, winter.
Okay. So is there a month or is there a season or a month that is just bad fishing there?
I would say it just depends on the wind. The wind can shut everything down. Like it can shut your trying to just tie on stuff is ridiculous sometimes. So you get that 20-mile, 25-mile-an-hour plus winds. You're like, I fished for under a bridge one time, and it was, I think, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it was
holy crap, dude.
howling. That was ridiculous. And I'm like under this bridge. I was trying to find like shelter because just the wind and stuff. I was catching sheephead at the time, but the wind was ridiculous. So honestly, the wind can get hurricane level.
Mm-hmm.
So
that doesn't sound like fun.
So honestly, I don't have really much other than it getting cold, because I don't like cold that much. But you can go wading and stuff and still catch fish. So there's really nothing stopping people from fishing here. Honestly, you can fish all year round here.
Perfect. All right. So when you're gonna go someplace brand new, what do you do before you even start fishing?
Okay, so I actually just did a video on my apps and stuff. Google Maps is really important to hit that satellite view and look around the areas and stuff because you may have missed something that you didn't even consider. Um, because a lot of people will all congregate in one place thinking they're going to catch fish here because people have caught fish there before. If there's no fish there, what are you going to do? You need to branch out and kind of learn for yourself. Think outside the box. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, it's really an important. It's an important tool because you can find fishing spots you never even knew existed, and that's what I did. When I
Mhm.
first moved here, I basically would make little dots on all the map where I was going to go visit. And I visited a whole bunch of places around here and kind of learned the hard way.
Yeah, that's how we do it. We try to prevent that here on the podcast. We try to prevent you guys from having to do things the hard way. We want you to learn. I know it's the same on your channel too. We want you to learn. It's why we do the social media thing. It's not about, that.
Well, just the adventure side of me. I just have to do it. I just it teaches me, and it's all teaching. It's all about teaching. I teach myself by learning like the hard way to certain things and change certain things. Why did this work? Why did that not work?
Yeah. The self-teaching piece, man. Um, I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of us have done it, the majority, but dude, it's like you have to learn something on your own, and then once you figure it out, you're good. But once you get it from somebody else, it's like, holy crap, why didn't I think of that? It's
Right.
just and it's just then you get mad at yourself. You're like, how did I not know this? That I should have known this.
Exactly. It's it's tough. It's definitely tough because you can get easily discouraged, but you got to remember it's not always about catching. It's about just being there and experiencing the area. It's beautiful. There's tons of wildlife around you. There's stuff that other people don't get to experience. It's all about the adventure. That's what I say.
Yeah. Great point right there. Well, before we move into the next question, we've had enough time here. It's time. You got to check your bait again because, it's been recent. Oh man, hopefully you've caught a bunch of fish. Life's good. You're just nailing it, and maybe you've had to make an adjustment. And if you haven't caught yet, maybe it's time to change spots. But it's only been 50 minutes. It hasn't been a full hour yet. Yeah. Maybe something needs to change. This bait check is being brought to you by DS Custom Tackle. Old Delaware Surf Fishing. That's what the DS is. They're up there getting you got lots of great things that you can possibly use all throughout the country. Jigs, lots of cool ones, floats, different ones. Keep your eye on the website. There's a special set coming very soon. I know that they've got Barry's rig in there, the BS surf fishing, the glow in the dark with the sand flea. Very nice, very nice. Lots of good stuff there. Or if you need to get into any other terminal tackle, they've got that too. If you're a rig maker and you're looking to find a supplier, DS Custom has you also covered as a supplier as well. So reach out to them, take a look at, or reach out to them. You can find out more and go to the website, dscustomtackle.com. Get your order set up. You'll be ready to rocking and roll in no time. Real good deal. So we've talked about these pieces when moving. Now let's talk about, I love this one because it comes with the bait check. How do you adjust the tactics for fishing when the bite isn't on fire?
Well, they're definitely staggering your baits for sure. Sometimes you can screw up by fishing too far out too. A lot of people think you need to go way, way far out, and then some people don't realize going way, way far out is where it's at. So long distance casting is really important, just as important as fishing close in. So it's really about learning to read what's going on. A lot of people don't know like trout are like really close in, and you didn't need to be casting that far out to begin with. And so it's all about learning to adjust what's going on. And if, however, I think the worst times I usually have in the surf is when the surf is completely calm, flat. If it's
Oh
dead,
yeah.
stuff like that, I don't see any bait sometimes. I don't see any, water movement. Fish love that water movement. That gives them a layer of protection. A lot of the bait, which pushes in the predatory fish, which is wonderful. So you got to learn where the bait is and where they're targeting at, and once you kind of figure out where that is, you get the fish.
True. Yeah, I've found for me on the flat days, I've had to move to spoons and metal. I prefer throwing my metal out on those days because that's when something swim by. It's looking for that. But you're right. When you get that surf moving, you get that little crash. It's turning up that stuff in the bottom. It's getting in those other feeders, and that's game time. Like big surf days, those are red days for me. I always know I'm gonna catch a red.
When you think about those redfish, I mean, they even like that chocolate milk. The big ones will come up real close sometimes, even. And why is that? They're so big and stuff. They scare off the bait. I mean, as they were growing up, they were probably being targeted at one point too. So they still had that mentality of hiding themselves and being that predatory fish. They gotta be able to hide that big body and stuff. So that chocolatey water hides them. So it's kind of weird thinking that way, because you don't ever think like to get to a certain size they don't need to be hiding, but they do in a way.
Yeah. Well, another thing I love about redfish too is how they camouflage their bodies. I can catch one here on a clear day. That red's going to be silver,
Oh yeah,
beautiful bright silver mixing in with the sand to prevent you can't see me. And
right.
then I get the dirty day and I'm going to get that copper hue, or if I get them
Yeah,
on the inshore, oh, they're going to be that dark copper. They're really going to be. And then pompano, kind of the same thing. They'll change a little bit. You get more of the yellow belly and stuff. But I love that about fishing, is seeing how these fish can change to their environment to protect themselves. And it's just brilliant. It's like, all right, cool. And so, but backing up, because you said something earlier and I failed to bring it back in, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for it, but we'll do it now. I loved what you said about redfish when you're doing it in brackish water, but you're using a glow style rig. I think that's really smart because it's giving off that little extra hue. How did you bump into that idea?
uh just I think I think basically I was thinking, like, when you're in a dark room, the glow glows, right? I'm I started I started like experimenting with flounder because a lot of times they're at the very bottom and sometimes it gets murky and stuff. And you get the water movement. They love that water movement when it's ripping a lot of times. So sometimes it gets like turned up and mucky and stuff. So I would throw like, artificial and it would get taps and stuff. So I started catching occasionally on those. And then they kind of made me realize like other species kind of like that. So you'll get trout, you get reds, you get a little everything type of thing. But yeah, just the glow, I guess. Even though it won't probably glow that much under the water, it's enough just for them to sightsee essentially.
Yeah, because brackish water, you've got the sun that's going to be blocked out. It's muddy. You're not going to get the great UV shine that you would because it's having a hard time getting through the silt. But yeah, that little glow hue. Good call, man. Real good call. I'm actually going to add that to my tackle box. So thanks, Rich. That was a good one.
Yeah. The yeah, I really love it when it really like really shines. It's the one that you go to and it's like, oh man, I'm glad I had that with me. Type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I've in my recent life, or I guess in the last 6 months to a year, I have learned no longer to say this is my favorite lure, because as soon as I say those words on the next cast, it's flying off on its own. I've
Good.
lost that, so I no longer have favorites when it comes to that.
I've learned to, like I said, you got to learn to adapt. You adapt
Yeah,
with the fish. They're constantly moving and constantly changing. The conditions are different. You gotta learn to come up with ideas of how to get those fish. And if you're not out there thinking about it, and people aren't coming up with the ideas themselves, you're gonna miss opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. Adaptation is huge. Um, so you've already answered a couple of these other questions so with throughout the
Oh,
talking piece here.
I'll go for it.
Oh, that's well, this is the last one in this one, and then we're gonna move into your channels. How is fishing different in that you've noticed in areas? So I normally ask this, how's fishing different in your area from others? But you've got a lot of coastline, you've done a lot of different places. Like you said, Pins has got a piece, and then you got some other pieces throughout there. But what have you noticed that's differentials for fishing?
Oh, my goodness. Uh, what kind of sets us apart? There's just so many cool places to fish. Honestly, I have to admit, like we have like anywhere from the Lexington, like fishing in front of a battleship. How cool is that? Um, fishing on pins where you can go just drive for miles and miles, just get away from everyone. You don't see anyone for miles, and camping on the beach. You can't beat that. This stuff you just can't beat. That separates us like apart from a lot of places where you get to experience beauty at the same time as fishing. So I think that's where we really shine. Um, but there's just it's such a cool place, and like like we have tons of history here too. I mean, like Penn's was made up. It's all like dug out and stuff because the war and stuff. So we got a cool base system because of that. We got what? I mean, the Packery was named after an old packing plant. We have all sorts of just like history here, which is really cool, and it's really great to come, just see all this beauty here.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. And the brochures make it look even better. I will say that. I need to get down there, man. I've heard nothing but great things about Pins. We were supposed to camp it, but unfortunately our plans got screwed up, so we didn't get to
Four-wheel
enjoy that.
drive is a must. Just so you know, past I think you can go to the 10-mile marker, 15 maybe, depending on how good. But yeah, four-wheel drive is a must, honestly, because like I said, no man's land is not maintained. It's gonna be soft sand.
Yeah, don't get caught out there, and bring a CB radio if you need something else too. Always good to have a secondary form of communication.
Hopefully, someone will pass along eventually.
Eventually. Hey, you got fish out there, so you'll be okay. You can live off the land for a little while before you go.
Bring lots of water.
Yeah, yep. All
That's
right,
all.
so
Tastes so good.
let's move into your social media, man. What made you want to start posting and become a content creator?
Do you mind if I do this real fast? Okay.
I don't
So,
mind at all.
let's see if I can't get that. Got a friend. He's sending 3D lures, and he's sending me some 3D lures. So give him a like on TikTok and.
Give his name too, because remember, this is audio too. It's not just video; it's audio.
Oh yeah. Luca, I guess. Let's see, at Lake Erie, Luca. So, yeah. So what really made me maybe really want to like start going on the social media thing is I started watching a lot of videos before it came down here. Like I was like heavy, like I was hitting it all the time. I was gonna have this down. I thought I was gonna have it down before I got here, which was a total lie. Lied to myself, and that's what kind of sparked that interest in really trying to reinvent myself when I got here, because it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. Because they make it, when you see these videos, a lot of times it's like, oh, this looks easy. If I do exactly what he says, I'm gonna land this fish. That's not necessarily how it is, and fish change and they move, and they're here and this. And I didn't know all this. I knew this to some degree, but not to the point that I really needed to know. So that's what really sparked my interest in doing social media. So got the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Instagram's more new. TikTok, I wasn't hitting it heavy, but I'm starting to hit it heavy now. Facebook, I just made an account for my Facebook as well. That's new. So yeah, I just love it.
Does it all fall under Big Rich Fishing?
Yes, it's all Big Rich Fishing. Sometimes it's Big Rich Fishing one. It just depends.
Yeah, I had to. So when I found it's funny when I was looking at your logos, because as you guys see here on
That
the
was my
video,
wife.
I've got it.
My wife actually made that.
Nice. It looks really clean.
Really good artist, so I was like, "Can you make me one?"
The other fringe benefits of marriage. Hey, you're really good at this. I need you to hook me up.
She's a doctor as well, but if you ask her for anything medical, good luck.
Oh,
I was
so
like, "Oh, I got
you started this, you
her."
got into it.
Like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just take some ibuprofen. You're good. It's like, great, thanks
Uh,
for the support.
yeah, Motrin. I've got to the age now where I have car Motrin, I have bedside Motrin, I have living room Motrin, I have office Motrin. So you never know when you're going to need 800 milligrams to get through your day.
Why don't you have a Senator Motrin with that?
Yeah, and it's also thanks to the Marine Corps, though. Well, I guess the Navy technically, but yeah,
Thank you.
yes, there's great days most days. So you've done all this. Like you said, you're all over now. I mean, you got TikTok going, you got YouTube, Facebook, Insta. All these pieces are growing. What has been the goal of your channels?
Honestly, to I guess supply a little bit of humor, some information, sharing other friends you know accounts as well that I feel like they've done a good job type of thing helping me out as well. Just basically, it's basically to me it's like friendship, um, sharing knowledge, and just humor for the most part.
Humor goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Goes very
You get
far.
more likes on that than anything else a lot of
You
times.
do. I mean, between the humor ones and dare I say the controversials, you get a lot more clicks,
Oh
and
yes.
that sucks, but that's how it is. That's how the game
Yeah,
gets played.
like, do I really want to watch this one with he explains how to do all this and this and this? Well, some people get like either they're bored or they just want a TV surf essentially.
Yeah, that's been the hard thing with podcasting has been, you got to catch people at the right one. And when I first started, people are like, "Oh, you got to keep it to 20 minutes." And I'm like, 20 minutes?
It's what are you supposed to do with 20
Like,
minutes?
20 minutes is like my intro, man. That's me getting to hang
Well,
out time.
not the Matrix. You can't just download it.
Exactly. So, long form and short form content are quite the interesting game. And I know we're going into a little bit of a hole here, but it's a good one to go into, especially if anyone's been thinking about getting into this.
Yeah.
I got really fortunate that I've had great mentors. I want to call them. They may not think they are, but they are to me. Guys like Tony with Fish Gum or Salt Squatch, Phil Hollinsworth, Brett with Fish Bites, Bama Beach Bum. All these guys that I've met along the way in this journey have all given me a nugget of something to think about. And for the longest time, they're like, "Hey, man, long form content is just not going to pay. It's not going to do these things." And they were right. It's hard to get a long form. It's hard to get somebody to sit on the toilet for an hour and watch a show.
That's true. That's true.
But on the same note, now all of a sudden, long form has become a holy crap. Long form content is all of a sudden now important. People are like, "Oh, they're actually watching longer." So it just depends on the game you're in and how you've structured, and it's
I,
ever changing.
I don't ever remember like YouTube being on like TV, but now my kids are starting to watch stuff on YouTube
Yeah.
on like we were just watching I think it's Nate or his name. He does like Halloween stuff and they goes to Halloween stores and does like reviews of stuff. So I mean it's growing. It's starting to grow finally,
Yeah. And the difference too with our age gaps. I mean, my daughter, she's 12, and I mean, I go onto YouTube if I'm looking for something that I can't figure out and I need to see a visual tutorial. I'm like, "Hold on, let me look this up," and I can nail it my way. He'll come in and be all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, can we go to the store?" Sure, what do you need? "I just want to pick up some makeup." Oh no. Well, then it
There's
turns out she's in the
more.
bathroom making horror makeup. She's making scars and blood, and she's doing like in decorative faces. And I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And she's like, I just wanted to learn it. So she went on YouTube and she would, start searching this and learning it on the kids' YouTube side. And I'm like, dude, this is great. This is fun. You're having a blast.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can learn from just and kids get younger and younger. Like I get young kids following me sometimes. I'm like, holy smokes, it's like when I was young, I didn't know how to use a computer.
Yeah.
I was out on the bicycle playing, rollerblading, doing all that, outdoor stuff. So it's a
Yeah.
different. So again, definitely more content friendly for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Gone are the days where it was for us, get out of the house. When I want to come home, you can come home when the street lights are on. But I'm hungry. I don't
Oh
care.
yes,
Not
exactly.
saying that happened to me as a child, but
It
it
did.
may, Mom, I love you. I really do. But I remember my childhood for that.
Most definitely.
So, since you've been running for a while here, and we nailed this a little bit, but let's go into it there. What has been one of the biggest lessons learned after running into the social media game for now?
Uh, there's gonna don't expect your come up with a goal of what you want to pursue and just pursue it for yourself, not for other people. And you can't expect to just be big. Not everyone can be big, but just make it for yourself. Don't do it for other people. That's the biggest problem. Is a lot of people go that direction, and a lot of people just give up. You just keep on going. Just keep on going and pursue your happiness.
Yeah,
Because
there.
it gets tedious if you're not happy with what you're doing and stuff. Editing stuff is not fun, and I'm sure you can agree with
Nah.
that.
No, I'm already dreading having to go back and do video editing from the beginning intro here that none of you guys got to hear or see because I already fixed it by the time it comes out. But Rich and I saw it. But yeah, it's like I gotta fix that.
Yeah, well, imagine I have like a GoPro and I'm just like recording all the time, and it's like edit, 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 edit. Did I get a good angle? Oh, I got some water on it. Great. I didn't see that water spot. I could have
Oh
wiped off.
yeah.
The stuff you don't consider. It's like maybe I should have done it this way, and then you sink into the rabbit hole of how much money is this going to cost me to buy more stuff to make more videos. So yes.
Yeah. A lot of people I know, how do I say this without sounding like a total dick? You, you can't get into the game thinking you're going to get sponsored by GoPro and get all this, all this gear. All this stuff costs. It is ridiculous. The price point where you're like, what the hell just happened? How did I just drop $1,000?
What am I supposed to do? I'm fishing, and then I'm like, I
Uh
just
huh.
recently upgraded my RAM on my computer. I was like, oh, can I upgrade this because like this thing keeps on crashing a lot of the times, and does fantastic now, but like just fixing it myself and upgrading it was a big deal.
Yeah, I'm on borrowed time on my laptop. You just keep swimming, buddy. Just keep swimming.
Look, as long as you see smoke, right? You keep on
Yeah.
going.
Oh, too many times I've been like a couple times during this episode here, I've heard the fan kicking on. I'm like, you can do it, baby. You just hold on. Don't
Get
you
that
dare go anymore.
air, just a little bit of compressed air to clean out the fans. Come on, baby, a little bit longer.
Yep, just one more. Oh, that's so bad. Has becoming a content creator made you a better angler?
Yes, because I'm able to express now my creativity a lot of times. Like when I'm inventing stuff, or like, oh, I'll get an idea. It's like, oh, like, before I would lose all those ideas. Now it seems like it's more ingrained in me when I do the videos. So all the fun, cool, quirky things like I end up doing, you know, ends up being, you know, it's out there. And people like it, fine. If you don't, whatever. I had fun doing it, and that's all that matters.
That's good. That way to look at it, man. Good on you, Rich. Good on you. So, what is the future plan for your channel?
Honestly, just to share my adventure and just make new friends, essentially.
And you're already crushing into that, so good stuff there. Well, we've nailed into the social media. Let's get you into the closing questions. But before we do that, we got to do one last bait check because you should have been done by now. You should have been fishing and Mallard like already in the car. That's just the goal. 1 hour, right? 1 hour. Yeah, that's not real. It is your third and final bait check of the episode. Like I said, hopefully you caught a bunch of fish and you've been doing great and things are just good and you're listening in the car. And if not, hopefully you've moved, changed it up because something has to change if you're not catching fish. They're out there somewhere. Believe me. I know I'm the skunk king. I know that stuff. The last bait check is being brought to you by, that's right, the Kids Can Fish Foundation. You guys know how I feel about them. They're doing great things out there in their community, and it may be expanding. I can say that out loud now. Some cool stuff, but all the cool things that you see from them, they're getting these kids out there, teaching them how to fish, teaching them how to do all the fun things that they can with new gear, cast nets, rods, reels, whole rigs, and they're teaching them all of it. And that all comes from your donations. They are a 501c3 charity. They are completely documented and all that one. So if you need to have into that conversation, you can reach out to them there. They will be also having the SSI, St. Simon's Island Running of the Bulls. You'll see me there. I will be out there for that fishing tournament. It's going to be great. All the proceeds for that also go back into the organization to help keep funding these clinics and these camps for these kids. They're it's not their official motto, but I love hearing it and I love saying it. More tackle boxes, less X boxes. They are doing great things and they could always use your help. So thanks for Kids Can Fish. You guys are great. Look forward to seeing you in a couple months. All right, so let's get you out of here with this last set of questions. What knowledge would you give to a brand new angler?
Reach out to your local fishing groups on, usually like Facebook or whatever. A lot of them will either fish with you or teach you. There's always going to be someone with like some information or just something that you wouldn't know. Don't ask for someone's spot. That's the wrong way to go about it. But definitely hit them up and stuff because those are people who will teach you. And I was taught some stuff that I've learned, and you just end up growing from there, essentially.
Yeah, that's good right there. Good point. What do you recommend someone coming down to your area that has never fished it before does before they put a line in the water?
Huh. Proper weights, like you need to learn to have different weights. I'll have someone at the jetty sometimes like throwing a weight and it just it drifts like too far, um like or the surf, it's like I can't keep a weight out there type of thing. It's, the surf got a little bit too rough. You just got to learn to have different types of weights. A lot of people like have the basic, bass fishing stuff, and they don't have the proper tools to be able to keep their stuff from moving around. So you definitely want to look at pyramid weights and spider weights for sure in different sizes.
Solid piece right there. All right, last question, and we'll get you out of here. What's next for you?
Well, I've got a clue. I guess between the quail and fishing, I think I'm just going to keep on hit the social media and do a lot more fishing. I'm going to try to get out there as much as I possibly can. And I've always been fishing anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, or 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 days out of the week, and having a great time doing it.
I mean, dude, could you make it any easier and better? That's just phenomenal. I'm so excited for you, Rand. I really am. I'm excited to see all the stuff that you do, and I'm looking forward to watching your channel and continue how it grows. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the TikToks. That was a fun way to start finding out about you. I was like, he's on TikTok. Message on TikTok. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and all these pieces. It's been a pleasure. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I look forward to talking with you again sometime.
Thank you so much, and I had a great time, and I hope you all enjoy this video and give him a follow.
Hey, I would love that. So, all right, Rich, we'll talk to you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this episode helped you. I know I got some great tips and tricks from it, and I'm definitely going to utilize here. I've mentioned that one. He's also got, he mentioned into the other, can't say my words. I will have the links back to you to see some of these ones. You know, you got Coastal Cowboy. He mentioned them about that. That'll be linked back. Stanfield's Tackle and Lake Erie Luca. Lots of fun stuff there. But go back to the website, findingdemosurffishing.com. You'll find the links on there. You can basically get back to it from the link wherever you found this on social media. I do hyperlink it back. Make sure you give this out a share because somebody's going to use that information, especially if they're going to Texas. Great way to start these things. You've been listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. It's been a pleasure having you here. We'll see you next time. And for lack of better terms, I'm out of here.